Hi, I'm Jazz, and I'm an alcoholic and I'm codependent. I work a 12-step program and I seek health. I am a seeker and a traveler in my journey. I am powerless over people, places, and things. I am powerless over people, places, and things. I am powerless over the fact that I don't know if tomorrow's going to come. I'm powerless sometimes over my own emotions. I am powerless over my past. I am powerless over if I send an email out to the other parent about instructions, whether they're going to do it or not. I'm powerless over what happens with my kids on their parenting time with their father. I'm powerless over people that are in active addiction. I'm powerless over how some people treat me, how some people behave. I'm powerless in family court. Family court's not fair. Nobody wins in family court. I am powerless over what people think of me, what people say of me. I'm powerless in so many ways. I'm even powerless over myself. If I don't work on my recovery, it slides down. If I'm not on my stuff, it slides back, and I've felt that. And I really try to maintain the best that I can. And I'm powerless over, people, places, and things. And I'm drilling that into my brain. And the more that I believe that, the more I believe that I don't really have too much control over anything. I only have control over me and my thoughts, my feelings, my body, my actions, what I do with my life. And I used to be in situations where I didn't think I had a choice. I was stuck. I thought there was no way out, and I did find a way out with myself. And because I started to focus on what I could do, like the serenity prayer. And, what can I control? What can't I control? And to learn the difference between, what I can and cannot do. And that took a lot of trying. And by trying over and over, I build self-esteem and I build discernment. And then I get this confidence because I'm building my self-esteem. And I'm getting better at becoming more efficient because I'm actually putting my energy into things that I can actually control instead of into things that I cannot control. I cannot control someone else's drinking. I cannot make other people wake up. I cannot get people to understand me that don't want to understand me, that don't want to listen to me. It's not up for me to pull off their blanket of denial. It's not my job to take care of them and point them in a direction. It's their job. It's their journey. They have their own God that is looking after them, and it has nothing to do with me. I need to get into control of myself. And I do the things that I can do. And if I can't do it, I give it to my higher power, or I give it back to the person, their stuff. So there's my stuff, God's stuff, and their stuff. And sometimes I can get caught up in their stuff and God's stuff. And I need to get myself back into taking care of stuff that I can take care of. And that is a more efficient use of energy. So I remind myself that I am not in control of people, places, and things. I am powerless over people. When I find myself managing, controlling, fixing, focusing, looking into stuff, like when I find myself too into things that don't involve me truly, I understand now that I'm struggling with some kind of insecurity, worrying about some kind of outcome, avoiding something within myself that I need to look at, and I work with my higher power and other people to figure out what that is. It's hard to watch people. It's hard to let people go. It's hard to let people go when they're in their active addiction, when they're in their active codependency, when, I've had to let lots of people go like that to keep moving on and to honor my own pace and my own journey, because it doesn't help me or them by staying back, by staying behind, by trying to drag them along. And I've gotten better at, becoming stronger, at being on my own and independent. And I'm not lonely, I'm just on my own. And I used to be a lot lonelier because I think I used to try to drag too many people with me, and that really slowed me down, and it doesn't give me the life that I want. So learning to let go of people, learning to let go that I can't make anyone do anything, and I've tried explaining to the ends of the earth, and it doesn't work. It's such an illusion to think. Like, when I'm trying to control an outcome, it's not controlling anything. The control is an illusion, and it's just something I think I'm doing and I think I'm controlling, but it has no effect. The effect that it can have is pushing people away, is making people feel like I'm judging them, is making them feel like I don't trust them. I don't trust in their ability. And I don't want to do that to people. I can only lead by example. I can change for myself for the better. I can not spend as much time with certain individuals. I can be quiet. I can pray. I can say the serenity prayer, because I'm powerless over people, places, and things. And I spent a lot of time trying to control people, places, and things. And it's a lot easier to work with the truth and the reality and create lines in the sand and signs and warnings and instructions. And when I focus more on that, my life is better. But when I focus on controlling you, I leave myself, and it doesn't do anything. Being powerless is exactly that. There's nothing that happens except for me thinking that something happens. So people that I know that are, maybe they're burning their life to the ground, maybe they're behind, they think they're right. They're always talking about how right they are. They're talking about how they figured it out, and letting them make their mistakes, letting them suffer from their own consequences, from their own life that they're living, letting them go to their higher power. I can't be their higher power. So I've had to release people to something greater than me, something up there, out there, I don't know. But I lose myself and then push that other person away by trying to control their life or thinking that I can do something. I can love from afar. I can be there when they actually ask for help, when they actually want to get out, when they actually think that there's a problem or that they see it. But if they don't see it, I'm not going to be able to make them see it. they don't, I think for me, I think I was powerless over some addictions. I'm powerless over a lot of things, but I think I go to meetings and I go to meetings because I know that I could probably just drink again. I go to Coda because I know that if I don't go there, I'm going to be a control freak. And then I'm going to be living my life in my fear. And when I'm controlling everything, I'm living in my fear. And that's like an emotional state of mind. So my emotions can come through me and happen. And my reactions, they tell me something. They tell me a signal. It's very important. But I don't operate from that place of fear. So the feeling has to happen. But then I have to move on to the action part. Can't dismiss the feeling because that's important and that's dismissing myself. I just, figure out what to do next. So this letting people go is very, my fears are, what if they die? What if they never get sober? What if they get a divorce? What if we never get back together? What if we never get back together and now I'm done having kids because now I'm getting too old? I'm powerless over my future and I'm powerless over what God has in store for me. And when I really put that into my head, it is me surrendering my control and power and letting the world be the way the world is and just doing what I can in the world. And I don't think my higher power wants me being my own higher power, because then I'm in my ego, and my higher power doesn't want me being everybody else's higher power. My higher power wants to be my higher power, so I need to get out of the way. And if I can't get out of the way, I need to get some help to help myself get out of the way and investigate and get support on how to do that. So, if someone that I know is in their active addiction, I don't tell them that they should stop drinking. I don't correct them when they're wrong. I just listen and love them as a person. I love them. I hope the best for them, but they're choosing their path. They're choosing their life. They're not choosing to live for me, and they're not going to choose to get sober for me. They're not going to choose to change for me. They're not going to choose to be a better dad. They're not going to choose to be a better partner if that's not what they want to do. And by me telling them those things, that's not going to make them become the dad I think they should be, become the partner I think they should be. I'm in a place where I have to surrender that, because I'm going to waste my whole life just burning out my energy on things that I can't control. So I can't control people, places, and things. But I can sit, wait, pray, and take care of me in the meantime. And I can be there for them if they want help. But I can't make them get help. And I'm not responsible for their road, their journey. I'm not responsible for their mistakes, or I don't need to lay my life on the line because of the past. I'm not indebted to anyone else. I don't have, because of their problems, I'm not indebted to them. I don't owe anybody anything. I live my amends for me because I think it's the right thing to do. And I continue forward. And I change for the better each day. I just become a better me today than I was yesterday. And that's how I push through and have self-care and have self-love and stay in my lane. But keeping myself in my lane and letting that person live their own life, have their own feelings, be the way that they are. I can't be judging them on the way that I think that they should be living their life. And just because I might write emails or texts of all my instructions and desires and wants and what respect I want, I can do all of those things, but they're not going to do anything because those people are just going to be the way those people are and where they're at and what they're learning. And I don't have the full picture. I don't have the full bird's eye view of their life. So if I'm judging and pushing, what I'm doing is I'm just creating more distance between me and that person. And that's not going to help anyone. You know, when I was in places of struggle, I couldn't quit for my kids. I couldn't change my relationship. I was in these really powerless moments, and it eventually took me to wanting to reach out to change. It took me to finally ask one safe person somewhere that didn't know my life or my family or my friends or my work, some outside person. It took me to tell that one person one day at some unplanned time, but I knew I wanted to. It took me then to start creating some change in my life. It was a private affair. It was a personal private affair. And when I started that's when I had decided I wanted something different. It wasn't because somebody told me that I should get better and live for my kids and leave that relationship. Nobody told me to leave my relationship that I didn't want to be in, except for me. I had to decide that I wanted to leave my relationship. And that was really scary. So I avoided that for a really long time. But it took listening to that inner voice inside. And I knew that there were some people around in my life that would help me. But it took time to get to those steps. And when I got enough courage and told maybe a few more people about my change or what I wanted or what direction I was going, once my voice grew a little bit more and my courage just grew just a smidge more, then I could work from there. But there was no big light bulb awareness from someone else that I should do this. It was an inside job. And so I'm glad that I got to that point. But really becoming right-sized and knowing how much power I actually have in my life and in other people's life, knowing that where the power is, and I don't have all the power. I don't have very much power. Sometimes barely enough power over myself, but I start with myself. I get in control of myself, and I give myself the things that I need and I want. And I'm learning from that place, not from a place of being yelled at and scolded and ultimatums and loud controlling instructions. It comes from a quiet place within, and usually a desperate place. And over the years, I have to remind myself that I'm powerless over people, places, and things, institutions, work environments, the way that the world should be. I am powerless over that. That is too big for me, and I cannot be over responsible for everyone and everything. I need to just be this person that I am. That's big enough job. So it's a job for one. So I am powerless.